Financial news in English, 财经新闻学英文 Unit 11, a portfolio strategy to weather the storm of business cycle, 克服景气循环风暴的投资组合策略。Unit 11, a portfolio strategy to weather the storm of business cycles. Everyone wants to make money on the stock market and hopes the stock price will always go up. However, that is not possible because business cycle is part of our lives. The economy fluctuates as business swings back and forth. If economic activities slow down, the earnings and the share price will follow that vexing moment, hurting those still have stocks on their hands. Consequently, whether to hold on to stocks or any other financial instruments depends on the stages of business cycle. A business cycle has four facets: peak, recession, trough, and recovery. When the economy is at its peak, trade is booming, business is lucrative, and the stock price is high. Everything is great until the concern for overheating kicks in. The central bank may increase the interest rate to slow down the pace of the economy. In the meantime, the exuberance of prosperous commerce will have led to overinvestment, and underutilized facility will further slow down business activities sooner or later. Recession, often referred as the R word, is identified by the fall in GDP over 2 successive quarters. When that happens, companies need some time to shed the overcapacity as demand continues to weaken due to the increase in unemployment and loss in income for workers. No one knows for sure how long this adjustment would take. It is a matter of time for the central bank to feel the suffering of the average person and do something to stimulate the economy. The politicians will also realize that their future is at stake and react to the challenges of their constituents as well as those of their own. Before reaching the trough, the bottom of the cycle, the central bank may decrease the interest rate to galvanize the economy, and the government increases its spending to ameliorate the recovery. During the phase of the recovery, business activities start to pick it up, and consumption and investment improve, with corporate earnings getting better until the economy reaches its peak again. In hindsight, it may be easy to weather the storm of business cycle via suitable financial instruments. At the peak, the best asset to hold is cash. As the old saying goes, cash is king. The only direction for the economy to go is down, and no other assets are safe except cash. After a couple of quarters, when a recession is confirmed, bonds will be great to own because the central bank would decrease the interest rate to stimulate investment, and the lower rate alone will push up the price of bonds. This scenario will continue until the trough is reached. During the recovery period, as the pace of the economy picks up and corporate earnings grow, the prospect of bonds persists until overheating is in sight. The central bank will then increase the interest rate to dispel any sign of rampant inflation, which together with the higher rate will hurt the bond price. That is, one has to get rid of bonds at a certain point during the recovery and switch to stocks to enjoy the increase in corporate earnings and stock prices. The above is all well said and done. The question is, do we know which phase we are currently at in the business cycle? Economics is a social science, not rocket science. Identifying a recession needs at least 2 quarters, which is an eternity in the business world. Moreover, no 2 business cycles look alike. Previous experiences serve no effective guidelines for current situations. Warren Buffett said, "Be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful." But few have been able to follow his advice. The Dow Jones Index was at 6,600 at the trough of the financial tsunami in March 2009, but it reached 18,000 6 years later. If you sold up all your stock holdings in 2009, you sure will regret to see how much profit you have missed out because of tremendous fear. In addition to business cycles, there are political cycles surrounding election days. Usually, the ruling party rolls out expansionary policy to improve the flagging economy to enhance their chance of being re-elected. Thus, business tends to pick up around the election year, and the stock market would prosper as a result. In addition, the characteristics of a political party matter. If you have investment in stocks, you might be better off voting for Republican candidates. In Taiwan, some crazy things have happened for political reasons. For example, the stock prices of some companies went up just because the company names were similar to that of Kuomintang, KMT, or Democratic Progressive Party when the related parties seemed poised to win the election. Rest assured, such nonsensical incidents have happened in almost every country. After Donald John Trump, DJT, was elected as President of the United States in 2016, the Dow Jones Transportation Average, also called Dow Jones Transportation, DJT, increased from around 8,000 points in November 2016 to over 9,400 around the inauguration in January 2017, an increase of 17.5%. However, the DJT incident may be just a coincidence. Vocabulary: adjustment, adjustment, ameliorate, ameliorate, at stake, back and forth, back and forth, the central bank, characteristic, characteristic, confirm, confirm, constituent, constituent, depend on, eternity, eternity, exuberance, exuberance, facet, facet, facility, facility, financial instrument, financial instrument, financial tsunami, flag, flag, fluctuate, fluctuate, galvanize, galvanize, GDP, GDP, get rid of, identify, identify, incite, incite, in the meantime, kick in, overcapacity, overcapacity, overheating, overheating, phase, phase, pick up, poised, poised, prosperous, prosperous, recession, recession, scenario, scenario, slow down, successive, successive, suffering, suffering, swing, swing, switch, switch, the stages of business cycle, the stages of business cycle, tremendous, tremendous, underutilized, underutilized, unemployment, unemployment, vexing, vexing, weaken, weaken. End of Unit 11.